This episode of Out of Spec Reviews is brought to you by Magna. More on that later. Hello and welcome back to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome back to another Hog Back driver assistance challenge, this time with the brand new Mercedes GLS. Now, this thing's rolling on 23s, looks awesome, is, I think, my favorite, at least combustion SUV on the market today. This thing rocks. It's got one of the best drivetrains ever. Can't say enough good things about this. Truly, it's a fantastic vehicle. What we're here to find out today, though, is how good is the driver assistance system. This thing's got the driver assistance plus package with everything available on it. We have 2 cameras up here. We've got a radar behind the Mercedes logo here. We're going to see how it does in our 30-mile loop up one of the most treacherous sections of I-70. We call it the Hog Back Challenge, and 50 corners. We're going to go all the way up to about 8,000 feet of elevation, all the way back down here to about 6,500. This is not an easy challenge. So let's see how Mercedes does with the GLS. It's the first Mercedes we've run in this test. So let's go through the GLS really quick. We either have or have coming a full review of this vehicle by my colleague Jordan behind the camera. I've slammed it in drop mode because it just looks awesome. For reference, over there on that truck, there is a F-150 and a Rivian. Really cool American trucks, awesome. The dude driving the truck, because I rolled up over there to take a picture, he's like, oh, these things are total crap. This is legit. And he's like hardcore Russian dude. They just love these big benzos. And I do too. I think this thing looks freaking awesome. So aside from the styling, this thing's 96 grand. There goes a previous generation GLS, similar spec to this one. This looks so much better than even that generation. And they're just great. Nice rear seats in this particular one. Captain's chairs, if you take a look, very nice. You can get an executive rear seat option, which this one doesn't have. But it is, you know, a 6-passenger vehicle, has the 3rd row. I'll show you here in the trunk. Take a look at the full review. We don't need to go too in depth here, but everything feels premium, everything feels quality, and just in terms of driving dynamics, you just really can't beat this thing. So let's talk about what we have in terms of driver assistance, since that's where we're really focusing our time today. Mercedes has been known to develop some of the first driver assistance systems ever. Now, they weren't the first to come out with adaptive cruise control. That was actually Mitsubishi, right, Jordan? And they had a LiDAR guided adaptive cruise control system. But that was never sold in the US, I don't think, the Diamante. So at least with adaptive cruise. So Mercedes was the first in the US market to bring driver assistance with the S-Class in 95, 99. Wow. Yeah, 95 was the Mitsubishi. Fun bit of car trivia for you there. If you actually listen to the Out of Spec podcast, it's a twice-a-week episode where we talk about cars, you would have known all this. And so Mercedes has been focused on safety, driving comfort, and all of these things. And even right now, they're actually piloting SAE Level 3 driver assistance in Germany with, I think they call it Drive Pilot. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but basically you don't have to touch the wheel in traffic, which is neat. This has their Level 2 driver assistance system. I've used it in many cars. I've never used it in the GLS. So I'm really curious to see how this goes, because we have found in this testing so far that some cars may have the same system, but it actually has some variances from car to car as well, which is why we're trying to develop this nice baseline test that we can run everything through. This test will be comprised of 2 components. A, an objective score, which you will find a link to a spreadsheet in the description of this video where we go through all of the numbers, the hardcore stuff. It's really hard to make a repeatable comparison objective driver assistance test because this is the real world. We're out on the highway. Things happen. We get stuck behind certain cars here or there. And so that's going to be an interesting one to find out. There will also be a secondary portion of this, I would say the main portion, which is the full review of the driver assistance system here. No one else on YouTube is doing what we're doing here, so we're learning as we go. We're developing standards. And I think this is a subjective review of the system with trying to make an objective, points system. So let's see, we'll run our first Merc in the test. I just love this thing. It's so freaking awesome. You join me back at the office with these incredible views to thank Magna. Now, Magna is a technology company that produces not only parts for cars, but also technological solutions from manufacturing and design and engineering. They cover so many parts of the automotive sector, and I bet you've interacted with a Magna product in your life before. Magna actually is very near and dear to my heart because their partnership, Magna Steyr in Austria, produced my first car, a Mini Countryman, and it was built right there in Graz. A lot of you are also familiar, Magna's going to be producing the Fisker Ocean in their Magna Steyr factory, and they also build G-Wagons, and nothing gets tougher than a G. So really excited about our partnership with Magna, of course. They are also hiring for engineers, so we know a lot of you guys are super interested in technology and automotive. I'll leave a link below so you can learn more about possible opportunities at Magna, but of course we want to thank them for sponsoring today's video and being such a huge supporter of Out of Spec. Truly, they are pushing mobility forwards responsibly and sustainably.
All right, on the inside of the Mercedes GLS, great place to be, by the way.
This is freaking awesome. How's the back seat?
It is, to be honest, incredibly roomy and comfortable.
That's what happens when you get the 6-seat configuration.
Yep.
Yeah, this is really nice.
No benches in here.
Not at all.
Just love the GLS. You're going to shoot a full review of it.
Yeah, that's the plan. Cool. So, yeah, but points-wise, does this have a capacitive wheel? Did we?
Well, we'll find out. Yeah. I don't actually know.
I don't think it does.
I want to say I think it does.
Oh.
We'll find out.
Bets. All right. No eye tracking of any kind, not in this one. Gauge cluster does show cars around, or does it not?
We'll find out.
We'll find out. So, yeah, we're not sure on all the points yet.
This is only because you just got it and you haven't tried them.
Yeah.
We normally spend some time, figure out all the points ahead of time.
We put our first 5 miles getting here.
Right.
So this is fresh.
But I can
It's my
put this
fault.
display into the full screen
Yeah.
display.
Very nice. So yeah, and then the warnings part, let's throw that clip in right now.
So let's get up to speed in the GLS. First off, just love this thing. I've always said the GLS is one of the best SUVs of all time. I maintain that. This current generation rocks. Okay, so we've put it on the Active Driving Assist Plus, whatever they call it, and you can see it's green, hands on the wheel. No eye tracking in this particular one, just S-Class and I think EQS get the eye tracking. Semi-truck coming towards us. Please don't go in his lane. Thank you very much for not killing us. So now let's see what happens if you don't touch the wheel. Genuinely don't know what happens. Totally don't remember. So it's kind of not, obviously it's meant for highways, not this type of road. And we're just cruising along. It hasn't given us a warning yet. But I'm covering the wheel, of course. Just cruising along. Actively steering us, no problem. There's the first one. It says touch the wheel. Head-up display also says touch the wheel. Still flashing, but no audible noises yet. Just flash and touch the wheel. There it is again. Big thing up on the screen. Same in the head-up display. A ding. It's showing touch it. Grab the wheel. Dinging. Still dinging. Wow, this is going on forever. How many dings can you wait? I don't know. I've already lost track.
It's like 5 or something like that.
Is this all it's going to do?
Wow.
Oh. Beginning emergency stop. Oh, and there's a car behind us. Oh, no. It's slowing down hardcore. Hazards on. And it would just come to a stop.
Nice.
Okay, pretty good.
Decent.
So does all the, I would say, the bare minimum of acceptance, and that's acceptable. Hazards come to a stop, and I don't know if it would put the car in park or brake, hold, and drive. We don't award points anyway, but it definitely would come all the way to a stop. So nice work, Mercedes. Let's go tally up some points and then run it in the Hog Back.
So that's if a driver is unresponsive, of course. And it does not yank the seatbelt, doesn't shake the seat, no exterior horn. It does do hazards, but that's really the only thing.
Oh, it does bring you to a complete stop.
Oh yeah, it brings you to a complete stop. So 2 things there, but and it doesn't let go of the steering without warning, like
it's pretty safe.
Some other cars, yeah.
I would say, you know, it's exactly what Tesla does, when it's exactly what other good automakers do. It doesn't go beyond. Like some of the Volkswagen Group stuff, literally yank seatbelt, honk horns, make a big fanfare. This is just a nice ding and pulls you to a stop with the hazards on.
Yeah. And does this adapt to the speed limits at all?
Yes.
Okay, nice. And it does do lane changes, which I think this is our first car we've tested so far.
It's the first car we've run in this test with lane changes. That's right.
That's going to be great.
We have so many more cars to run through the Hogback.
Oh, yeah. Lots. And then adaptive system aggressiveness, does it?
I believe it actually does do that, yes. And you can go with an individual drive mode separate from, so I can keep everything in comfort. However, we're not going to give it the point because there's not a separate adaptive cruise control aggressiveness setting.
Yeah.
Like the genesis of this is like in ID4 and the Golf R and a few other ones, you can tune the driver assistance aggressiveness separate from the engine drive mode. And in this you cannot.
Yeah. And the adapt to the speed limit, does it let you offset the speed limit at all?
So there's a setting in here that, and maybe you can play around with it this week when you do it and adjust the score accordingly. Because if I go into settings, assistance, traffic sign assist, and then here you can see limit adoption, which is just a weird German translation of follow the speed limit.
Yeah.
And you can set it up to +5. But that just says the warning threshold. I don't know if that means it'll go to +5. In this test, we need it to go at the speed limit.
Yeah.
So
I'll be finding out.
You'll basically find out, and you can check the spreadsheet if it's a +5 or if it's a +0, depending on that.
Yep.
We don't take away points though.
Yep. And then automatic lane change without user input.
Doesn't do that.
No. And it does not return to the right lane after this.
Well, that's only if it's if it does it by itself.
Yep. So I think we're ready to go.
Cool. Into drive. Awesome car.
Yeah.
I love driving GLSs. 23-inch wheels on this thing.
Just monster.
Gigantic.
And I have a massive head-up display in front of me with 3 different columns of information that I can adjust. I've selected the pitch and roll on the left, my driver assistance speed in the middle with set speed, and then my distance to the car in front, literally given in hundreds of feet of length on a nice display. And I just have all the info. It's wonderful.
You'll have to read all that off while we're driving.
Yes.
No one else. It was funny watching you adjust it because it looks like you're just doing nothing.
Right, I know, because no one in the car can see it, but it's this great, really bright, wonderfully positioned head-up display. Mercedes always has great head-up displays, and I actually prefer this to what's in the EQS, which the EQS you can have a lot of info in as well.
Yeah. So we're about to do the drive, which is where we'll deduct points, which could be from either Kyle taking over for safety reason, like let's say it just veers out of the lane, or if the car will disengage with a warning or without a warning. So we have various points for those.
And we just ran another car in this test actually, and it was a little trafficy out there.
Yeah, so we'll see how it is. It's now a Thursday evening.
Sorry, go ahead.
Now, according to Google Maps, it's clear, but we really don't know.
So this engine, just for those of you wondering, inline 6 mild hybrid with a pancake motor on the back, which means it doesn't really use a traditional starter motor. It does on-off, you can't even feel it. 48-volt mild hybrid system, full air suspension. We have everything set in comfort mode for this, which is just normal key up setting, of course. And yeah, let's go ahead and merge on the highway because everyone's turning. So wide open throttle, ready?
Yep.
Just nice low down grunt. So smooth.
Sounds good.
It's not crazy fast. This is the standard engine. That sounds great. We're gonna have to slow down as usual to the speed limit, 65. System on, hold on, there we go, 65 by the time we hit 70, or the I-70 sign. Interestingly, it's showing me that there's a corner and it knows we're going around a corner, but -1 right there because I just had to take a little bit of an input. But now it's doing it all, although I already can tell you this system's not going to perform wonderfully based off that first corner. It's my first time using this system, and it did the lane change by itself. That was good. And I helped with a little bit of throttle there just to get the thing motivated to move.
We are going up a lot of hills, like Kyle said, 1,500 feet. That's the total gain. It is actually more, so I guess that's not the total, it's like the net gain. We're going from 6,500 to 8,000.
Right.
But it's a lot of up and down. So
Up and
the total
down.
gain's over 2,000.
So the route gets progressively harder. It was just going hardcore right. That's a -1. Yeah, I don't know where it was. I didn't take over. But so there's 2 types of systems, and we say this in every review. There's ones that are designed to assist you, like that. That's a -1. Again, it was going out to the right. There's those that are designed to assist you in the background, which is this, meant for sort of straight highway, long slogs, and everything like that. Lane change to the right, It's doing it.
Nice.
And very nice. And then there are those that you are sort of locked in and you actually can't make any adjustments when you're into that system.
Yeah.
And that's a very Tesla Autopilot Rivian R1T situation. Okay, what's it going to do here? Oh, it's doing it. And it's slowing down for the corner actually, which is pretty nice. You can see it shows it knows there's a corner. I can hear the turbo boosting up, sounds good. I'm leaving it in automatic even though I want to grab a gear down just so it's not sitting under boost the whole time. Yep, and it actually what am I trying to say? It shows that it's slowing down a bit. But wow, is it very like not wanting to make corners.
Yeah.
So definitely a torque wheel, not capacitive.
Yep.
Have to go lane change to the left. So it does that. It does lane changes really nicely. Really nice lane changes. And occasionally it's going to be hard to maintain the speed limit throughout this whole test. What we really want to do is try and get the speed limit around the corners. The goal is, of course, to objectively analyze the system, but also share our opinions on it. And so, yeah, pretty good integration with knowing the roadways, loving the lane change situation. We gave it plus points for that, right?
Yeah.
This is one wide lane. It's definitely hanging more towards the left side here.
Which is good.
So it knows it's not doing the Tesla thing.
Yeah. So this will be interesting because this car had the highest initial score because of all the things it got points for.
Really?
But it also may not do super well.
It just does not instill confidence around these undulations and corners. It goes to the way outside, which doesn't actually cost it points. Do you see us wagging through these lanes though? What's it doing?
It's not quite like the Santa Cruz drunk driving, but it's not great either.
There's a menu we can pull up here. Whoops, not in comfort, in info, which we can go here to vehicle. We should be able to see the suspension lines. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's running just rear wheel drive right now.
Interesting.
Nice Range Rover.
Got a 5% incline, over 4%.
Yep. So this gauge plus roll is what I have in my head-up display.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, it's good. I think I just need to get comfortable, unfortunately, with the system riding the outside edge of corners.
Which is scary.
And now going hard right.
Oh, yeah.
That's a -1. It went over the line.
We're
-1. I'm letting it do its thing, but we're taking points. Yeah. So I want to say I think the EQS is significantly better than this.
I think so.
Now I just recently I did a range test on the EQS and did 350 miles on this system in one go. But wow, another ping pong situation.
Yeah.
So we're going to give it a drunk driving score at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Because this is a car you would get pulled over for drunk driving.
I feel like it's as it comes around a curve, it'll go towards the outside and then it tries to
counteract it.
Itself.
It's just like reacting instead of planning.
So the speed limit's still 65, right? Or did it jump down to 55? No, it's the next climb.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not sure what lane it wants to be in. I'm actually going to go back to the right lane here. It's nice that it stays on the system for this, because this is one of those on-ramps that cars try to go over as. We always, we have deducted points from some cars here in this particular
Beautiful
spot.
views, bison on the right. Great place for a test.
Yeah, great place for a test. Look at that view of the mountains.
Here we go.
All right, let's see what happens. Literally not even phased.
It does that perfectly.
So there, like I said, this system, because I just did the range test in the EQS, if it's the same system, I'm not totally sure. Amazing, just at no ping-ponging on a straight road, competent, cruises forever, it's really good. This is a really tough corner here.
Yeah.
Whoa, it did it, no points deducted
really?
yet. No points deducted yet, that was all it. That's a -1, touch the line. And it asked me to take over, that's a -2. But it's doing this, doing this, doing this. So that corner, and another -1 at the end. That corner was a -4 in total.
Cost a lot right there.
Yeah, and I was just nudging it when it shut off. I nudged it and it kicked back on.
Wow, I'm pretty nervous for the turns later in the course.
Yeah. Later in the course, it could get a little spicy. But here it could look like one big lane to the car, right?
Yeah, but it's doing well. So is it like tracking the car in front of us and lacking onto that?
I'm sure it helps.
Yeah.
A lot of these primitive systems do, sort of follow vehicle in front. I love watching the EQ boost up with electric power till the turbo kicks in,
Yeah.
and then back off as it builds boost so it doesn't have to rev out.
Great system.
Oh, the powertrain,
excellent.
wonderful. And for long highway stretches where, you know, you're just going straight in most of the country, this system's perfectly fine. I wouldn't have a problem buying it.
Yep.
And it does what I kind of needed to do, which is stay in the middle of the lane. Up here, if I was driving normally anyway, I'd be going way too fast, probably on the bumper of someone. -1. And I'm still letting it do its thing, but it definitely, -1 again. And it's actually triggering lane departure warning. It's shaking the wheel.
So it's like two separate systems.
On top of each other, yeah. So the one system's like, hey, you're hitting the line. The other system's like, oh no, we're good.
Wild.
Yeah, a lot of cars that happens in.
Yeah.
Which is smart. I think it's good to have redundancy.
Yeah.
Even Tesla can trigger forward collision warning on itself in autopilot.
That's good.
Yeah.
And how many levels of follow distance do you have?
Well, let's find out. So there's, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it shows little CLAs on the screen. It's still 65 here?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I must be all confused.
104
But it definitely
kilometers.
doesn't show other cars around you on the screen,
Does
just
not.
in your path.
Yeah. Wish it did, especially for the lane changing.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Let's go back to the right lane since we've gone past that truck. Again, we try and drive in the right lane as much as possible, but just depends on traffic.
Yeah.
Right lane's always the hardest for systems because you have to deal with lane splits for exit and merge for coming on.
Yeah, because we're not the state that mandates dotted lines.
Right, we're not like Virginia that has the dots throughout the exits. I'm trying to think of other states, but I can't, other than Virginia, think of any.
Yeah.
Someone will comment.
I wonder if they'll, I don't know, organize that across the board.
I don't know. Well, we were just on the phone with our friends from NI today.
Yep.
And they were saying there's a company that goes around to different cities to rate how like autonomous car friendly they are.
Yeah, for anything from stop sign placement to legibility. And it's not like people accessibility, it's almost like car accessibility.
Right.
Like, how well will the car react to things? How well are the lines painted on the road?
Jordan,
Or
it's
are
doing
they?
this corner perfectly.
Why?
Oh wait, now at the end it went a little wide, but not bad.
That was good.
55 and just dropped down.
Yeah, so it's 55 here, but as for our test, so it's slowing down for the speed limit. But
Awesome.
typically we run 65 here, so we're going to continue at 65.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Yep.
And we'll try and just kind of follow the same, and everyone else is going this speed. Can it do a lane change around a left-hand corner? Whoa, yes it can. Puts in a lot of input.
Yeah. It's like, you want it? Okay.
Work convoy. I am just monitoring everything. There's someone on our left, so we can't move over for them. And back to the right lane. Come on, car.
So it's taking a while on
It was definitely more aggressive on the left.
Whoa.
And
the... Oh.
it said lane change cancel. That's a -1. I mean, I, of course, I'm letting the car go farther than I typically would, but it's just interesting to see. Let's see what happens here.
Like, thought about it?
No, I think it was just going wide for the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely looking for torque input, not only in one direction, but it wanted to feel it in both directions there.
Yeah.
Someone on the side of the road, so we'll make a lane change to the left. Oh, it's so nice having lane changes. Can it catch itself? Lane change cancel. So if you're in the middle of a lane change and come up on a corner, it cancels itself.
Interesting.
But the system is still on, it just says lane change canceled. But that would be a -1
So
if
it
you
just
didn't count
leaves
it.
you, yeah.
But it typically would be a -2 if the system disengaged. It was just a portion of the system that disengaged, but steering was still active.
Yep.
And so I just nudged it a little bit, but active steering, this green thing, was still on.
Yeah. Nice and cloudy now, no overheating cameras.
All right, so here's where it drops to 55 miles an hour. I think the car thought we were already in 55, but it would have slowed down there. So now we're set to 55. But the thing is, it didn't recapture after the work zone and go to 65.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It didn't, you're correct.
Yep. Tolls waived. Nice. So this is where it gets tough.
Yeah, this is where I'm not getting my hopes up.
Is there a lot of turns right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the hardest part of the test through here.
What car has done the best so far?
So far, the Tesla Model 3. We ran that earlier today.
Yeah.
We're gonna let this guy over. We're gonna hold up the entire state of Colorado behind us.
Nice horse trailer.
Yeah, nice rig right
Got
there.
the
3,500 dual
quarters
link.
on the front. Yep.
He's engine braking that thing. All right, right lane change around the corner. Here we go. It's doing that perfectly.
That felt really good.
Oh. But it did it. It did no points, but just like, why did it go straight there?
I don't know.
Okay, so definitely like a very limited driver assistance compared to even a Honda Civic.
Yeah, the Civic did this really well.
So the Civic is the benchmark for this type of system, which is one where you can still put input, but it doesn't knock you on or off the system. It's just always there in the background. The Honda Civic was 29 grand and smoked just about everything.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was the one we tested. It was a maxed out Civic. So I think you can get that system on an even cheaper car. And my whole thing is like, if a Civic can do it and you offer driver assistance, it should be that good.
Yeah.
I understand why some aren't Tesla good, because they're using a whole bunch of cameras and neural nets and doing all these things. And I don't think we're in the camp where Tesla will ever be full self-driving. But I think we're in the camp where their driver assistance is really solid.
Yeah, as we just found out in the previous video.
Yeah. In the last Hog Back from this one, you'll see that. We're at a 7% decline.
Yep.
And it's on the brakes 2%. You would think it would just downshift here, but it's just riding the brakes. And -1.
Thanks.
Just had to, we were going too quick to the edge of that corner. And the car now knows this one's a corner. It's slowing down. What's it going to do here? It gets wide. It's turning in, going wide. Oh,
And it wanted
-1.
You want to take that off ramp? That's funny.
All right, come on. Let's get back centered in the lane, car. Here we go. This is the hardest corner of the test right here. I am holding on a little bit tighter than I normally would. -1. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
-1 again, actually.
Wow. A little bit sketchy.
And we're off. Yeah, we're good. Cool. So that was a -2, just because of how unhelpful the car was there. It's really easy to put in inputs though. -1 for sure there. It just goes right over. Like, I'm putting in a small amount of torque to hold it, and it's still going over. Yeah. It's like it doesn't want to put in like enough torque to the wheel. Like there's some limitation as to how hard it can twist it. Wow.
I mean, that was the Golf R too.
Yeah, all of these systems seem to have this either G-force or steering angle or steering torque input limitation that they hit, and it's usually one of the three.
Yep.
But I would say, from Mercedes, you would think it would be a little bit better than this.
Yeah.
Because it's a Mercedes.
Well, it's just like this thing's $100 grand, and like Mercedes has been doing driver assistance tech forever. It's not like they're a new off-the-shelf company, and it didn't take the exit, even though we are.
Nice.
Oh, it actually knows that we were taking the exit there.
Interesting.
And it kind of slowed down a little bit. So now I'm taking over on the brakes.
Pretty smart system overall.
I'm downshifting it now. There we go. You can breathe a little bit. So smooth.
Mercedes drivetrain calibration.
No one does it better. Yeah. These new inline sixes are smoother than BMW's inline six. The suspension on this SUV is great.
Yep.
The steering is wonderful. The driving position is great.
Yep.
I am a big GLS fanboy, especially when you get it with the AMG kit like this thing.
Yeah.
It looks so baller.
It looks really great.
And if Russian Vladimir over with the Rivians there said that this is cooler than the Rivian, then we're good.
Yeah. All right, 340-ish horsepower, 369 torque. But that's plus the mild
meters
hybrid.
or pound feet?
Pound feet. But then plus the mild hybrid.
Definitely revs third out more than second.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mild hybrid can do like 112 pound-feet boost or something.
180.
180, okay.
And then only 20 horsepower.
Right. It's just the torque that it's there for. All right, so it's not on the system. Now it is. And -1.
Yikes.
Oh, it grabbed the brakes. You feel that?
Yeah.
So that's the lane departure that the Sprinter does.
Yeah.
So it's the same system. It's a brake lane departure system. What it does is it grabs the inside rear wheel brake and then pulls you around. Wow, this bus is hauling into this corner. Yeah, he's on the brakes. He was going a little. All right, left turn lane. And -1.
Just goes straight for the wall.
I don't actually think it ever initiated the lane change. I just don't think it could do the corner.
Yeah.
And so it worked perfectly for when we needed to change lanes.
Let's do this one.
Yeah, this is the hardest corner coming up though, especially in the right lane. -1, especially with the school bus there.
Yeah, same
-1.
children.
Yeah. Mercedes doesn't care about children. Let's see what it does here. No one's to our left. Turning in, going wide. Said take over -2.
Yikes.
So it gave up, but it gave up with warning, which is -2 versus
Just giving up.
which the Hyundai and the Porsche both just gave up entirely without warning there.
Yeah.
And that was -3. And the nice thing is this gives you a audible chime,
Yep.
which is, I think, really smart in comparison to some systems that are just visual. And there's a -2.
It's a nice job.
It's a nice chime, and I really don't want to let go of the wheel with someone to our left here, so I'm helping it through that corner, but I bet it would have lost another point. Here's where it jumps up to 65. Let's see if it'll do that on its own.
Uphill too.
There we go.
Yep.
And it boosts right up.
Nice. Love it. It's a good
It
sound.
sounds like a diesel at low RPM, like a Cummins, because it's an inline 6 with a lot of turbo.
Yeah.
Where's it going? -1, touch the line.
Wow.
This is really not doing great. Oh, nice Defender 110. He has no driver assistance, not available. I would have bought one if you could get even this level of driver assistance. Because this is kind of all I need for straight roads. You definitely need some.
Really does have the drunk driving thing.
It's really just as bad as the Hyundai was in the
I
Santa.
feel like you'd totally get pulled over.
You think we would get pulled over like this?
Yeah, definitely. If I was driving right now, then we would. I'd be.
Yeah,
going
you've
to
had a
jail.
couple beers. Do you think you could drive better than the Mercedes?
I do, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, and -2.
Wow.
Wow, it's terrible at this.
Yep.
But it's such a great SUV.
I know. It's still worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's still worth it. You just live in Kansas, where there are no corners.
Yeah, some things are worse than
That's not true, all right? There's lots of corners in Kansas. There's just less people, so it might do better.
Yeah, I really think, you have to approach different driver assistance systems to target different things, right? And this is one definitely meant for straighter roads.
Yep.
And we've found with a lot of German vehicles that the systems work better in Germany than they do here, or in Europe as a whole. Like especially with Porsche stuff.
Why is that?
It really works. Just they are developed there, and I don't think they do too much assistance to adapt their systems to our roadway network.
Yeah.
But we base our test here, so it is what it is. Eventually, if you guys watch enough of these, they'll start basing their tests on this stretch of road.
And we'll film more tests over there.
Yeah. And then we'll go over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is amazing how important driver assistance is to the ownership experience of the car and how few people are actually testing them.
And there's a lot of people that I've talked to who don't understand the difference between what each car comes with, which I think is why these tests can also be helpful. It's a review of the system, because if you are shopping for the car, you want to know what it will do.
I didn't even know that cars actually had these systems inside of them.
Right, we picked you up in the Tesla earlier. You're like, oh my God, it's driving itself.
Well, I knew that Tesla did have its own self-driving system, but I didn't know that other cars also did that. I thought it was Tesla's own thing, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's all just pretty much driver assistance. This is very much requiring assistance. All right, what is this person going to accelerate? I'm just going to slow down because they were going to crash into us.
Yeah.
And there was a guy to our left.
Yaris at full throttle.
Yeah, that's wide open up here at about 7,000 feet of elevation with no air density. That's about all that thing can do.
Yep.
Oh, that truck broke down.
Yeah.
Freightliner owned by Mercedes.
These hills are hard on vehicles. We've seen so many either crashes or broken down cars on this hill.
This is it's got to be one of the most dangerous sections of highway in the U.S.
I think so.
Are your brakes adjusted?
Yeah, all these signs that are warnings for big truckers. runaway truck ramps, all sorts of things up here.
This is the first proper SUV we've run in this test, I think.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yep.
Rivian pickup truck. This, it's so roomy. We have elbow room.
Yeah, how's the back?
Like I said, it is fantastic. As a dad's perspective,
yeah,
I would totally chuck my kids in this thing.
Would you feel safe with your kids in this thing with the driver assist?
To be honest, I'd feel safe for me to be able to climb in the back seat while we're still driving. To be able to help
he's
them.
had a few drinks, okay? Wow, the 23-inch wheels hobble.
Yeah,
no, I just meant if I was like in the passenger seat.
Sure.
Front, not
Yeah.
driving. I have a Chevy Suburban, and we take that thing on long road trips, like 8-hour road trips.
What year is your Suburban?
It's a 2012.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've got less than 100,000 miles on it too.
Wonderful.
So, but we take it on long road trips.
Suburban bros. I own a Suburban too.
I like it. But we take it on long road trips all the way out to Kentucky, to the lake house, and
That's what it's for.
sometimes like I wish we had the captain seats in the center. You know, just because there's things that we could put there, or we're not utilizing that extra seat in the center. So I also think the captain's seats are they're bigger, so I like them a little bit better.
So like right here, the system's flawless.
Yeah, it feels really good.
Just a little bit straighter. It's asking me to touch a little bit, put a little torque in, tell it I'm there, nothing wrong.
You can it's still kind of doing a little bit of the. It's not really ping-ponging. It's just minor.
It's just driving lazily. It's like the system wants to do what car were we in? Was it the Santa Cruz where it would go out and jut in?
Yeah, it's basically continually correcting itself, but not.
But then they put like too much of a smoothing factor on it, where it doesn't actually put in enough input to make corners.
Yeah.
Are we taking exit 251? Wait, what's it gonna do? It's saying take over. Oh, and the system turned off, turned back. It's a -1.
Yeah.
But it found the lines back for itself.
That was interesting.
You wouldn't have died there.
Yeah.
But it's still a -1.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it actually shut off with warning, did it?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, it's a -2 instead of a -1, sorry. But I think if I did the test properly, I would have taken over before.
Yeah.
Let's just give it a -1.
It needs all the help it can get.
It needs all the help it can get. All right, so let's see a lane change with this car right here. Is it going to back down a little bit? Lane change to the left. Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa. It's braking, accelerating, has to clear the truck first. And I put in a little input there. And I'm putting in another input here. Let's just call that whole thing a -1.
Yeah.
Lane change back to the right. What's nice is you don't have to hold the turn signal. You can just click it up once and go.
Yep. Tap turn.
Wow, I want this thing. If I had a family, this is what I would roll in.
Yeah.
My wife needs a new car soon, and I'm like, why are we not getting
There you go.
Yeah, hey Mercedes, drop one off.
Well, because it's like, $100 grand.
It's $100 grand. And it doesn't even have the massaging seats or the good leather. It's got the really base, crappy leather.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was like, this is a $100,000 car. Like, the leather itself, it doesn't even seem like it's that
That's
great.
the thing. You got to spec it to about 110. I built one. I
But
know.
with the Napa leather or whatever they have in it.
If I'm buying a $100,000 car, it should have massage. I might as well just get a Buick, to be honest.
What?
Yes. Like,
Buick?
it's got the massaging seats, dude.
This is a Kansas situation going on here.
But what I'm saying is, like, you can get a Buick with massaging seats for less than $100 grand.
You can get a lot of cars with. You can get a Volkswagen ID4 for 40 grand.
I might as well just get a Honda
-2.
Civic, to be honest, and just throw a turbo in it and just call it
Well,
good.
they come with turbos now. We just reviewed the new Honda Civic and it's got a turbo.
No, I'm talking about like a 92 Honda Civic
Oh.
EG hatchback.
Hell
yeah.
Those things are awesome.
I had one.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have it all
I
modded
had
out?
I had a little Honda Civic with a B18 B12 inside of it.
Yeah.
It was the Integra engine.
Yep.
And it was turbo
VTEC
also.
life.
Yeah, it was VTEC with the turbo, and that thing would skedaddle. It was fun.
Well, this is what it's meant for, straight roads.
Beautiful. This would do great across Kansas.
And that's what I was. You were talking about straight roads, and I was like, "This is from Colorado to Kansas, like that whole stretch. It
can do it just fine.
You can take a nap."
So I wouldn't say the system's bad enough where it's a don't recommend, but it's a understand that it's meant for straight roads and for you to drive on twisty roads.
Yeah.
And that's what the Germans would tell you anyway.
A little bit of user input.
Yeah. The Germans want you to drive your car because they want you to love driving your car.
I don't know if that's true. I think they're just too afraid to hand the risk over by putting in crazy inputs. Whoa, driving drunk. Whoa.
That was.
Wow, that's a -1. I'm sorry, that was all bad.
So
And you're pulled over.
It's creeping towards the score of the Santa Cruz, but not yet.
Not yet. Well, it's still got another few miles left.
I'm starving.
Well, we got another one. Of
I
these
just saw a
just
food
here.
truck, so.
This is the land of food trucks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I tried to get food at that Union Station Tavern bar.
Yep.
And there was like, they apparently, all their beers were like not working, like the taps weren't working right.
Oh,
or
no.
something was wrong. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to leave. That's why I left to go to that other bar, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, me and Jordan, we have not had any drinks.
No
Yeah.
drinks for them. I just got off a plane.
You just showed up. Yeah, you have.
It's amazing. You look out over here, it's just flat.
Yes, that's, you can see Kansas. from
Hey,
here.
look, there's my house.
Yeah, so I mean, for this stuff, like, it's stellar.
Yeah. Just a couple more.
I
I wonder what it's going to do with this truck coming
Getting out of a Tesla and into this, though, the noise level.
This
Uh-oh.
truck's drunk driving
Yeah,
up here.
this is so much quieter than a Tesla.
Yeah. Great road
But
trip.
obviously, huge price difference because it's a Model 3, which is
Yeah.
60 grand performance to this. So $30,000 more, you'd expect it to be nicer. This feels a lot more than $30,000 nicer.
How do you think this compares to the X?
Oh, it
Noise-wise?
smokes an X.
Yep.
Oh, noise-wise? I don't know. I was driving Brandon's Model X and it's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
But this just has some presence to it. It does the waft thing.
Jeep looks like it's been on a lake bed in
Yeah.
Nevada.
Yeah. Looks just like
That looks like some guy that's had a lot of fun.
using the Jeep properly.
Yeah. The way
All
it's
right,
supposed
another
to be.
exit here. Oh,
There's a car on the left. It did the lane departure thing, but it did it.
just like
No points deducted.
It did, but it didn't.
Yeah, it's good. Ish.
It is funny how like the car knows it needs more input, but it's not giving it.
And it really struggles at the curve at speed, which we're about to do more of because we're going downhill now.
But we were going uphill at speed too.
Yeah. But I feel like every time it goes downhill to a curve, it's standing.
It's a little bit harder for it. Yeah.
It doesn't want to apply the brake.
It's charging up the EQ system.
How big is the battery with
I don't know, like a half a kilowatt hour or less. Okay, -1.
that? Yep.
How the hell do you even get at your house over
Oh, there's some roads that run around there.
windy roads.
There's
there?
great
Check out
roads.
my backyard. It's a cliff.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yep. Oh, T8 Volvo XC60 on the accessory big wheels.
Beautiful.
And I don't think. Oh, we did touch the line. We did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, -1. Sorry, Mercedes. We love you, but this is not doing too well.
Yeah.
Wait, we got like -85 so far.
So the Santa Cruz ended with -26.
Okay, but we haven't finished this, and we have an editor's influence part.
Yeah, that's
portion.
yeah.
I don't even want to know what we're at.
Right. That's just what we're putting up against the Santa Cruz right
We're
now.
going battle for the worst right now. Oh my God, a Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. Someone bought one with Chatamo charging.
Yeah.
Do you think they sit
Early.
at DC chargers?
I don't, maybe.
I doubt they've ever.
How fast does that thing charge?
I don't know anything about it.
Other than it's rare.
Yeah, it's the only plug-in hybrid with DC fast charging for a while. But in Europe, you can get a GLE diesel
Yeah.
plug-in hybrid with like a 60 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. Built in Alabama. I was just at the factory a few weeks ago where they built this car.
Nice.
Because all GLSs for the entire world, and GLEs, and EQS SUVs are built in Alabama.
Alabama has only 4 breweries.
It's a German car, but
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
No, Alabama is the last place in terms of breweries per capita, with only 4 breweries total.
Wow.
Oh,
Didn't touch.
here's our.
Right, it's taking the exit. That's very convenient,
Oh, we're
thank
going
you.
over the line,
but it's a
too.
-1.
Yeah.
I always
Right.
love it when that
Yeah,
happens, because that's where we have to get off.
So, editor's input. The Santa Cruz we gave -3 for drunk driving. Is that the same for this?
I would say the Santa Cruz and this have different levels of drunk driving. The
Yeah.
Santa Cruz was more frantic,
Yeah.
in the sense where it was very twitchy. This isn't twitchy.
it's more
This
of a
is-
smooth, like.
This is very like, it knows what it needs to do, but there's some smoothing software that stops it from really inputting stuff to stop jerkiness, I guess.
Yeah.
And it means it can't make corners.
Yep.
So I would say, yeah, on par -3, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
And other than that, like nice lane changes, great head-up display. I'm gonna give it a +1 for displayed information. No, because it doesn't show other cars around or my lane position.
Yeah.
I take it away. But I do just want to comment that it has beautiful displays.
Yeah, it does.
What is your editor's influence?
I don't really have much else to add. It's just, I wish it was more competent. That's reflected in the score.
Turn this stupid gauge design off now and get my normal.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Classic gauges.
My classic gauges, and I don't like the color change, so I leave them in classic, so it's blue all the time.
Yep.
I thought someone just parked a trailer here. I didn't see the truck in front of it.
So stupid.
How come people don't know how to drive?
It's Colorado. Denver drivers are not typically great. They're aggressive with confidence and no skill.
Yeah,
So the people you
I
just
pretty
hit with
much
your car.
only have the drunk driving. That's
Okay, so what's
So-
it come in at?
-22.
That's where I
Ooh.
thought most cars would come in at.
Yeah, so it beats the Santa Cruz, but only because the Santa Cruz had so many disengagements without warning. This is our new winner for most driver takeovers.
Oh, really?
25.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
So this had the highest initial score, and then
You know what would be really interesting is to run like a E-Class or something lighter with the same
Yeah.
system that may actually put in more torque to the wheel
we really need
because
to.
it weighs less.
'Cause I think-
Holy freaking truck coming over.
I
What
think
on
I think the system would do differently in different cars, just because of the size of the car, honestly, drivetrain, all that. So
Very nice. Nice Mustang too.
yeah.
Well, thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews Hog Back Driver Assistance Challenge. Great SUV with not so great driver assistance in our test, but still perfectly usable in the real world would be my opinion.
100%.
100% as somebody who is not part of this YouTube channel.
Thank you very much. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.